So let's create a very simple character now. Let's go to my front view. Let's go to view, image plane, import image. And then I'm gonna look for my reference. And in this case, it's gonna be this Bomberman reference here. So Bomberman, if you're not aware, it's a Nintendo character, not as famous as Super Mario and Zelda or Link and others, but kind of well known. Not my favorite Nintendo game. Usually, if I'm gonna play a Nintendo video game, it's gonna be either Zelda, Super Mario, or F-Zero. But in this case, Bomberman, it's the ideal subject for our class because, as you can see here, is a very, very simple character. So it's ideal for our little introduction to organic modeling. So I have put the main reference here on the front. I'm gonna do the same on the side. Image plane, import image. I'm gonna get the exact same reference, and I'm gonna move this here and put on the middle here on the side. So we have the side here, and I'm gonna move this back. So we have the reference here on the 3D space. And okay, how can we start with this? As usual, let's start with a cube. Let's create a cube. Let's put this cube here. And let's turn on X-ray. You can turn on X-ray individually in each panel, clicking this button here, or you can come here in shading and click X-ray. We want to create more divisions here, so let's press T, and we are gonna, if you press T, you're gonna have a pop-up that access the polycube. So we have the original attributes when the node of the cube was created. So let's make some more subdivisions, like 2 subdivisions and each one. Then we're gonna go to the vertex mode. So now let's select the vertices on the corners around here. So let's click and drag here, click and drag here, click and drag here, click and drag here. Be sure you're selecting all the 3 in each corner. You should not select the ones in the middle. Now let's scale this, and we're not going to scale with the middle cube there. We're going to scale with this little square here that connects only the red and the blue axis. So we're going to scale this a little bit down so we have a more round shape, and we still have this flat. This is just one way of doing this. The other way would be to just select this and click the circularize, but it's good to do different types of modeling techniques. So object mode, let's extrude this, not extrude, I scale this. Let's scale this quite like here. Okay, now it's just a question of moving the point and trying to reach the shape of our reference. So in this case, I'm gonna open this. And notice I'm not working with the symmetry right now. If you want to check what we're getting here in the organic front, press 3 and you see the organic version, but let's keep on 1 so we get a very precise approximation of the original form. So let's go to the face like this, and let's extrude with the shift. So we're gonna go down here, and we can scale this a lot. More like here. So in this case, let's go to the vertex. Let's move a little bit here. Move those like here. So on this side, the character is not totally symmetrical, so we have to push and pull some of the points. And likewise, the center part of the character, we want to create this more like oval part here. So I'm gonna go here, then we get those two, more like here, and then like this. Then we're gonna take a look of what we got here. It doesn't look good here. You have always to check on the profile and in the 3D view to see if it makes sense what you're doing. Sometimes on everything will look fine on the profile in the orthographic view, but then you check on 3D and it doesn't make sense. So then you have to correct in the 3D view. So here it looks fine. We're gonna select this and this. Gonna move this a little bit. Like with this and this. Okay. Now edge mode. Get this edge, and this edge. Just push a little bit. Okay, so I have this base of the body there. Now let's go up, and we're gonna extrude once here, once more, and one more here. Now let's go to vertex mode. Select those here. Scale this. Scale this. Likewise here. And do the same on the profile. See, like the reference is not exactly aligned, the front and the side view, but that's okay. Usually you're not gonna get super perfect aligned references, then you have to kind of adapt. Looking good so far. Let's check the organic version. So far so good. Back to mode 1, remembering to change the modes. 1 is the mode where we're gonna be working on the low poly version. 2, you have a cage, the low poly cage, and the smooth version inside the cage. And mode 3 is the smooth preview. But let's keep working on mode 1. Just press 1 on the keyboard. By the way, let's save the scene here. We do have autosave, but it's good to keep saving to be sure. So let's go back here to our face mode. I'm gonna select the faces, and extrude. Extrude like here. It's gonna be like here. And then we're gonna do a extrude offset. When the typical way we do extrude offset is to click the extrude and then we just change the offset. Another way of doing this is just like the way I'm doing the shift and moving to get extrude. If you change to your scale tool and you press shift, you also get extrude, but now it's going to be only the offset. So let's do this. It's a very quick and efficient way to do a offset from the beginning. So I have the offset, it's going to be around here, and then I can move this. I don't have the base of the head. Then I can keep extruding this. One more. And one more. Let's correct the shape here. Vertex mode. So far so good. This is gonna be here. To make this actually the whole head a little bit bigger here. So like this. And again, the reference is not exactly the same in the front and the right, so let's make kind of an average. So it's always good to check where exactly is the front of the character when you're creating something that in beginning is a little bit like too symmetrical. In this case, those two are like the front face of the character, just to be sure. So if this is the front of the character, like the little top of the head, gonna come out of this point here. So let's select this point. It's gonna be the point opposite of the front of the character, and we are gonna bevel this. Let's make this actually 25 actually is kind of good, maybe a little bit more. Maybe 0.3. No, a little bit more. 45 is looking good. Okay, so far so good. We have this here, and we can get those points here. I'm gonna put this in the same line of those other ones. Now we can move this around here. Now we're gonna scale this, but I'm gonna click twice in the scale tool here, so we get the tool version, and I can change the transform constraint. I could actually do this here in the modeling toolkit too. Instead of object, I can just go component, so the scale is gonna follow the normal of that face, and I wanna scale this down a little bit. And now we can extrude this, shift, so we extrude. And we're going to scale this again a little bit. This is a little bit too thick. Scale this again. Okay, now much better. Let's get this here, and now let's go back from component to object. We're going to scale everything down so they are flat. And you can see here in the front, they are looking fine. And again, W to move, Shift to extrude. Oh, sorry, I needed to be in face mode. So do not extrude vertices, that's never good. So now that we are in the face mode, Shift W to move, Shift. So we extrude once, twice, and thrice. I could have like offset in the beginning, but this one is really easy to just scale to the way we want. Gonna be something like this. Then we get the last one and scale like this. And again, the alignment of both views are not perfect, so you have to kind of average them. Let's press 3 and see what is going on here. Okay, looking good. Let's keep working on one. Let's save this, save scene. Now we want to create the arms and the legs. So let's do the legs here. I'm gonna be sure I have symmetry on. I'm gonna select those two here, and I'm gonna click circularize, and I think the result's kind of pretty good. I'm gonna just offset a little bit with the radial. I'm gonna go a little bit negative so it gets a little bit smaller, and I can offset a little bit in the normal offset. If you look here in the front, so now is really well positioned. Just with the commands of the extrude, I didn't have to actually move anything. And now we can just extrude this. So again, we have different ways of extruding this, but I always like the shift extrude. So shift extrude this. Now rotate and scale. And shift extrude again. Move this. So far so good. Let's rotate this. Let's look here. Here we need to do some adjustments. Let's get everything here and flat them so they're in the same level. Same thing here, same level. But now we want this more in the middle and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. Let's go to the face mode, select the faces. Remember, because I have those little balls in the middle of the face, I can always select them without having to go to the 3D portion here. Only in the front, I just click and drag here and I select them. So now let's extrude, I think 1 and 2 and 3 will be good. So let's extrude this, move move this down and scale this. And move this here. And we can actually get some of those faces here and here and just move them like this. Get the edge, move a little bit. Let's see what we have so far. 3 looking good. You see we have we would need more definition, but don't worry, I'm gonna show how you can create a little bit more separation between the leg and the body. So far so good. Let's go back to 1. Let's save this and let's create the arms. So very similar to what we did before. We can select those 2 and we can click circularize. We got something that's kind of useful, but we would like to change the offset a little bit and change the normal a little bit, go a little bit more outside. Now I'm gonna go back to my, let me undo this, what I did wrong there. Let's press T. The normal offset should be just here. Okay, so now let's rotate this, wind this back a little bit, and align this, scale this a little bit. And now I can go to the move tool, shift, so I'm gonna extrude to kind of the middle here. Let's go to the vertex mode, select all of that, let's flat this, and now we can rotate this because it needs to be aligned here. I wanna scale this, but in this case in the component mode, so this more like here, move, rotate, scale back to the object. Let's go back to face and let's extrude one more time. Move to shift, so we extrude this, rotate a little bit, and we're gonna have 1, 2, and 3. Go to the edge mode, select the edge loop. Let's scale this. Same thing here. And move this a little bit. We are getting there. I think we need to create some extra lines here to compensate what we did here in the chest area. This is like a good time to use the multi-component tool. We can select not the edges, but we're going to select this point, this edge, and this point here, and we're gonna click connect. It's gonna connect those points and those 2 edges. Then I press Q to confirm the connection. I'm gonna do the same here with this point, this edge, and this point here. Gonna press connect here, or you can press shift, right click, and then you can use the connect component. Boom. So far so good. Edge mode. Let's move this a little bit in the 3D space, so we'll recover a little bit of the shape we had lost there. Okay, so far so good. And now we need to create the belt and the details on the face. Let's create the belt first. Let's come here and on the edge mode, select this, and we're gonna click bevel, and we're gonna work on the fraction here. Press Ctrl so you have more, you can fine tune the amount you want. You need the same thickness of the reference you have here of the character. So now we go to the face mode, we select the faces, and we can get out of the symmetry, and this one is better to use the button, and then we just change the thickness, something like this. So far so good. And I'm gonna go to the edge modes here and select these edges here. I'm gonna connect them. I'm gonna do the same for those faces here. I'm gonna connect them. Now I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna move them a little bit to the front, and they are almost where they should be. It could be more like here. Not bad. Now we could do these in different ways, but I think the best way would be to I'm gonna extrude this a little bit. A little down here. And we're going to use our mold cut tool. You see, when I use the mold cut, it's not cutting across the character, because my SC, like my loop, kind of ends here. So I'm gonna create one cut here, and actually that's a good use for the symmetry. So just one cut here. Now we can get this, and we can extrude this. Actually, instead of extruding back, we're gonna extrude this out, so we get more detail for our belt here. And let's take a look how this is looking so far. Object mode, looking good. As I said before, we're gonna do an extra step, so this looks a little bit more separated from the body, but don't worry, we're gonna get there. The only thing I want to do is to move some of those points here, so it won't look such like angular belt. like this. Okay, now the face mode. Let's see what we have here. I think in this case we are gonna first scale in this direction. Then we're gonna click extrude and we're gonna offset this so we get what we need. Get what we need there. And don't worry much about the round. Remember, we're going to be using subdivision. It's going to get a little bit round. Now we get this and extrude inside. And now we have to extrude offset both. Remember, but there's a little trick we need to do here. We're going to click extrude. And if we just move offset, that's not gonna cut because we want to create the eyes of the character. So we need to do the offset inside each face. So to do that, we have to keep faces together off. And now we get what we want actually. So we can look here and have our pop-up here. And I think something like this is good. So let's go to our scale tool. The symmetry went a little bit crazy, so let's go symmetry off. Now we can scale this. And now we just have to extrude this out to create the eyes. And I think we have all the main shapes of the character. So let's go to the object mode and press 3. Getting there, almost there, but as I said, it's still very soft. There's no divisions between the parts. How can we fix this? Let me turn on the wireframe. This is what we have so far. Looks very organic, but the Bomberman character actually has some parts that are a little bit more sharp than the others. So how can we fix that? The way we do this is creating an extra edge loop in any part that we want to be a little bit sharper. The closest the edge loop is going to be, the sharper that the new crease is going to be. So I think it's a little bit easier to see that using number 2. But before we do this, I'm gonna actually show this in a little cube. So it's gonna make more sense for us. So I have my cube here, and if I press 3, I have my smooth preview here. Let's make this bigger. Let's go to mode 2. So I wanna make the top less round. I want to make the top a little bit flatter and the rest is going to be really smooth. How can I do that? Let's go to the multicut tool, and remember here in the mode 2 is a conjunction of the mode 1 with the mode 3. I'm seeing like the low poly cage and I'm seeing the smooth preview. If I want to make the top flatter, I'm gonna press Ctrl, so I'm gonna create this extra ring here, and as I click this, boom, look what we get. Really nice. You have this still a round corner, but much sharper than what we have before, but the parts below are still very round. The amount of sharpness or roundness, it's gonna depend of how close one edge is from the other. So actually we can see this in real time if I'm in the edge mode and I select the edge mode here, and let's move this down and you see what happens. You can see this in real time. As we move down, it gets like softer and softer, and as I move up and closer, it gets really sharp. And that's what we're gonna be doing in our character. So let's go back to object mode, delete this, and let's create some extra edges here. So let's create the extra edge loops we need to make the character less soft. Let's press 2 so we see both the cage and the smooth preview. Let's go to the multi-cut tool. Let's start with the foot. Let's create one extra edge here. Then we get more solid grounding for the character. We want this part here. We want a little bit separation between the leg and the feet. So let's press here. Same thing here. We want a little bit more separation between the leg and the body. So it's gonna be here. As you do this, be sure you're with the symmetry on. So now let's go here. I think here would be good. Or actually we're gonna create one extra here. And another extra here. And then for this part, I'm gonna create an extra cut here. Another one. So let's see. I want an extra cut around here, but the loop cut's not identifying the ring. So I need to do this manually. So let's cut here. Let's cut this. Then I'll start here, and there we go, a little bit more defined. We're gonna do another one here. And finally, another one here. One here. No. This. Okay. If we press 3, we can see the difference, those extra cuts made in the definition. Back to 2. So a little bit more definition in the arm. So the arm connects here, so we want a cut here. And another cut here before the hand. Likewise, we want something here for the neck. Actually, I'm gonna do the cut in the neck. And another one here. Then we're gonna have one here, so we can, you see right now, if you look, it's not really like the reference. The reference is much more defined. You have much sharper corners here. So I'm gonna create extra lines this part. And here on the top we need a little bit more, but not as much. I don't want super sharp like in that part. So in this case I'm gonna be more like this. I think this is one is good. Define this a little bit. A little bit define here. Let's define the eyes a little bit better. No, that's there we go. And now the little ponytail, one here and one here. So press F. Now we have the character. Press 3 and select this object mode, and now it's much closer to the reference. Now let's just create some materials for the character. So let's create some materials for our Bomberman here. Let's check how many materials we need. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 materials. So let's click on the Hypershade. Let's go to Arnold. Then let's go to Shader and AI Standard Surface. Let's create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The first one I'm gonna call white, and it's gonna be a white color. The second one will be called pink, and we're gonna get the pink of the reference. The third one is gonna be purple, and we're gonna get the purple from the reference too. Then we're gonna create a black, then a gold, so let's get some yellow here, and finally a skin tone. So let's get the skin tone here, and we can close the Hypershade, or we can dock. No, let's just put here on the side, and let's select the Bomberman and apply the first material. Let's apply the white to the whole object. Assign material to selection. Now let's go to the face mode and let's select what is going to be pink. Okay, so far so good. Need to get the hand. And the top part of the ponytail. Okay, cool. Let's apply the pink material. Now let's get anything that it's purple. Okay, I think that's everything that needs to be purple. So let's apply this. Now anything that needs to be black. What's this? Okay, ring here. Okay, that's gonna be black, and this is gonna be black too, and the eyes will be black. Let's check the reference. Yeah, that's the only two parts that we need to put the black material. Now we need only the buckle to be yellow. Okay, this should all be yellow, the gold. And there was a little mistake here. This little face here should be black too. That's gonna be black. And now we just need the skin tones. And there we go. So now I have the materials. Let's save this. Let's hide my references. And let's create a quick Arnold sky. And let's click on the renderer to check here. Boom. Okay, let's select the character, press 3, and we see the character in our smooth preview mode. That's what we wanted. Now let's just create a nice camera. So let's go to view, create camera from view. Select the camera here. Let's change this to Bomberman Cam. And I'm gonna go to panels, perspective, Bomberman camera. I'm gonna change the focal length to 24. Looks a little bit more interesting. Let's save this. So now let's stop the Arnold preview here. And let's go to the Arnold shelf and click the Arnold render view here. If you have anything already rendered like I had, just press play and we're gonna get our image, our final image here. And this is another way you can save the image. We have the image here. Now we're gonna go to File, Save Image. And we're gonna call this Bomberman 01. This is gonna save in whatever format you have in your render settings, which my case was JPEG. So I saved, and now if I go here to the images, I have my nice Bomberman, our first organic character.